LA Kings knock off the Predators in a, guess what? A shootout. Always going to be overtime or shootout with these two teams. And for the Kings, it's their 31st game of the year that went to an overtime or shootout. First period, Predators looked very stiff, very tight. Looked like it was going to be a miserable game. 4 shots on goal. 12-4 in that department. But then all of a sudden they picked it up. And the second period looked a lot better. Beginning of the third period. So first period, Joel Armia scored with 5:36 in. Steven Stamkos on a power play. It was a 5-on-3, which it doesn't mention here. Stamkos, it was a cross ice pass from O'Reilly, and it was just, when Stamkos, he's kind of like Ovechkin in that sense. Ovechkin, my nephew watches all the Capitals games, and he just kind of loads up and waits for a shot. Stamkos does more because he's quite a bit younger than Ovi right now. But that's his sweet spot. He gets on the left slot and loads up. And he puts one in. The Kings answer with another goal by Scott Lawton about midway through the second. And then Roman Josi with his first goal in quite some time in the third to tie it up. The third period was pretty boring after the Josi goal, because you could kind of tell these teams were just trying not to make a mistake. They both wanted to get that point, which the beginning of this season, I wasn't too in this camp of, well, maybe we should do a 3-2-1 point system. But the amount of hockey this year, watching all of these games, Boston is very guilty of this, where they're just playing for the point. It was a point where I was watching Boston games to see if, like towards the end of the year, to see if they would fall back and let some of these other teams in. But they just kept point. So the idea is 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for an overtime win, and 1 point for an overtime loss. So it would split it up that way. So if you're chasing it's going to be a little more frantic, towards the end of the game. But in the shootout, the only goal was Kempe. Everyone else missed. Actually, Evangelista was coming in hot and just kind of lost the puck. So Kings 3-2 win. The game was pretty entertaining, with the exception of the third. Like the end of the third period was very boring. And that's about it. So the standings are as such. Down to the west, and the Kings currently hold. So whichever team won that shootout would hold the second spot. Now, thing to keep in mind for the Predators is that the Mammoth aren't in it yet. They haven't locked anything up. Predators play the Mammoth coming up on Thursday. They have tonight against the Ducks, tomorrow against the Mammoth. So if the Mammoth don't get any points tonight, it's either tonight or tomorrow their game, and the Predators beat them in regulation, they're tied at 86. So there's a lot of pathways. And if you're this bottom team, you don't want the wild card too. You don't want to be stuck playing Colorado. You would rather play Edmonton, Anaheim, or Vegas. Or even somehow, if the Kings manage to get that Pacific one, I don't even know what my brain would do to itself. Just the thought of that, just overtiming their way to the Pacific one spot would be crazy. But nevertheless, come back tomorrow. I'll recap the Ducks and the Predators. I believe, yes. So 2 more road games, and then the final 3 games of the Predators schedule are in Nashville. So let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching.